Bet Gareth Southgate's looking back with a degree of frustration. He's with Gabriel Clark.
Well, over the piece, did you deserve better? I don't know. I mean, I think first half we were really good, and you know, we maybe could have got another. And at periods throughout the game, we had chances. I think there was a spell in the second half. You know, they got the goal, their tails were up. We had to really weather the storm. We lost our way a little bit. And you know, possibly at that moment, that experience of being ahead in a big game like this, and we were hanging on a little bit rather than trying to control the game. You know, great credit in extra time. We got some control back into the game and showed some more composure. I mean, the biggest thing is you see the supporters at the end and their reaction. That tells you what the players have given, not just tonight, but over the period. And I can't ask any more than what the players and staff have given. It's the toughest thing to take, that you gave yourself the opportunity to win tonight, and obviously you did have those chances, especially in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think knockout football is fine margins, and when you have spells in a game against a side with real quality, then you've got to make them count. And you know, we probably needed that second goal early in the game.
All the players have obviously gone to the physical limit. Was Harry Kane 100% fit tonight?
I had no issues before the game. You know, I think by the end, of course, several players are out on their feet, and moved down to 10 with Kieran having to go off as well. So, but again, that shows you everything they've given.
Was there a lack of experience to a degree in the way the match did map out? Was that a factor?
Well, I think we are where we are as a team. You know, we've come an incredible long way in a short space of time, and the experiences of the matches with Colombia, Sweden, you know, the whole thing is probably beyond where we thought we might be able to go. So tonight, in the end, we weren't quite there. But you know, the team will be stronger for that.
Is there anything tactically that you look at yourself?
I think we were throughout the game looking at how we might be able to stem the tide, but you know, really there weren't clear changes that we felt could improve the situation. There were times where our defending, we just had to, you know, regain some composure and start to play with the ball again. And I just felt there was a period of 20 minutes in the second half where we stopped playing and lost that bit of composure.
You've been there yourself, of course, as a player. What do you say to the players now about what's been achieved?
Yeah, very difficult, because as we reflect over the next few days, there will of course be a lot more positives, but tonight is so difficult for everybody to take. We're so close to you know, what was almost unimaginable at the start. So, but I go back to, for the players, they've got to look at the reaction of the supporters and see, you know, you don't get that if you haven't given what they've given and played the way they have.
You couldn't have given any more tonight as a team?
No, I think we've left everything out there, and you know, we'll look at the goals and the chances, but for sure I don't think over the 6-7 weeks we've been together we could have given more than we have.
Gareth Southgate, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gabriel.
There isn't.
Yeah.
But Gareth, that's in his typically understated, gentlemanly way. He's very emotional.
Yeah, he's hurting, and a class interview from a class guy. We can't say any more about Gareth. Really, he's took defeat like the guy we know he is, the top man. But he'll also know deep down that this was a huge, huge opportunity for England to get to a World Cup final, and they might never get a better opportunity. Okay, he's proud of the players. They've done fantastic, and they're young, and they'll be better for it, because you have to learn the hard way. Defeat is all part of football, but they've missed a huge opportunity.
He's implying, really, Gary, which you can't fast forward experience, is what he was saying there. He's not using that as an excuse, but that is an observation of his, and I suppose of everybody's, about what's happened this evening.
Yeah.
I mean, do you need to fail to learn?
Well, Roy
sometimes?
mentioned that these players haven't won trophies, so is it likely that they would win a World Cup for the first time? It is highly unlikely that would be a first trophy. So experience is a factor in football, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they were the better team in the first half and that they could have won this. So yeah, it's a factor. He's disappointed. He's every right to be disappointed. My biggest fear of all for these players is that they're not where they are again. That is my fear that we've mentioned on numerous occasions.
You know what? I can't be too disappointed because of the ride that I've had and what the boys have given. us and that. And, you know, of course, there's people waiting because, like, we were so happy as a nation with where we've come to, and people were constantly going on about who we'd beaten, and we ain't beaten anyone to get there. But we were there, and the happiness that took us there, I'm quite pleased that we all enjoyed that for a while. You know, we came up a bit short because in the end, the experience of our team, we didn't have it. We didn't have those players to really get us over the line. But it doesn't take away what we've just experienced for the last 3 weeks.
I genuinely think this is, from what's happened over the last 3 or 4 weeks, that this is the start of something. And yeah, and maybe it's, you know, it's fast-tracked into a semi-final. And perhaps if he hadn't have done it, it'd have been a bit less painful. That's obvious. But I do believe that what he's set out and what he's done with the players and how he's set all of St George's Park and all the teams are doing well and all of that lot, it is all gathering momentum. And I think that, so long term it is brilliant. I think they will get another chance. I believe that that experience they've just gone through right now can only do them good because they're at a young age. They've got talent, and I have to say it again. I know every week I eulogise him. They've got Gareth Southgate at the head of it all, and I do think that he's the catalyst to send this team through.
But the interesting thing is, so the argument is they're 4 years ahead of schedule, but the counter-argument to that is, what we've been saying a lot of times, is it may never fall like this again for them. Euros or World Cup.
I think there's a point there to be made. The youth teams have done well, and they've started to win tournaments. You hope that English football's taken an absolute battering over this last 20 years, on and off the pitch. You know, it's been ridiculed. And I have to say, for the first time, there's an England team that have played with some sort of level of composure and controlling games. They've looked like high quality. People have enjoyed watching them. They're obviously now going commiserating with the families and sort of catching up and stuff. But the reality of it is, I just hope that you think about the Premier League. 30% of players in the Premier League now are only English. Premier League coaches don't get the top jobs in England, the English coaches. So I just hope that this has given a little bit more faith in English football over the last 3 or 4 weeks, because look, if we'd gone out of this tournament in the group, you think about what's happening at home politically, it's a shambles.
Yeah.
With a bit football, we've been a shambles. You know, it's been absolute depression. Actually, this has lifted everybody in this last 4 or 5 weeks.
Gareth Southgate has said that with everything that's going home politically. Actually, this is the one thing that everybody has been able to rally around in the past week or so. After Italia 90, there was a real feel-good factor about football. Arguably, such a good one, it led to the creation of the Premier League. So is this a bounce that football generally as a whole, as Gary was saying, probably needs to take advantage of?
Yeah, I think England have done well. I probably wouldn't be as excited as the other lads, because obviously I'm Irish, and I maybe a different outlook on it. But I still always felt that this England team, they still have a lot to do, you know. I know we spoke about the opportunity. I still look at a lot of these players week in, week out in the Premiership. I think they have a lot to do individually to try and get up to play with some of the top clubs. A lot of lads are playing with mid-table teams. And then when you come to a World Cup and you're up against good teams, your experience, it's a big ask, it's a big challenge. But also sometimes you have to lose to win. You have to learn the hard way. And whatever way you look at these players, they will be better for it. But having said that, in the next few years, when Gareth was talking, they'll be peaking in 2 years or 4 years. Do you think Brazil and Spain and Germany and France, they'll still be around? They'll have players coming through. Yeah. So the challenge is going to be even bigger for them.
And you think about there's players from Hull, Milton Keynes, Fleetwood that were playing at these clubs a few years ago, now playing on a world stage. It can happen. If you just show faith and trust in these players. You know, obviously Roy's from Republic of Ireland, but it's even for Republic of Ireland, Wales and Scotland. It's not just an English issue of players playing at top clubs over this last 15, 20 years. It's become less and less. So we need to try and show some faith and belief in what we're doing at home against St George's Park, the youth teams, this, you know, the way in which Wales played 2 years ago. I mean, I know we're not all in this together because the reality of it is we're English and different clubs, but we've got to show some more faith in what we've got at home.
But before the game and yesterday and today, we're talking about England, the whole talk about the final. You know, the final, France, can play? Yeah, and I know I made a point a few weeks ago, a bit tongue-in-cheek with the players, but you're going, you have to focus just on one game, and everyone was talking about the final.
What are you talking
the
about?
football's coming home. Go on, do your impression. Right.
We wasn't talking about the final like that. We were just having a laugh with you. The fact is, we were trying to just like, we were happy. You weren't happy for us being happy at that time. But I think that we were...
I don't mind you being happy, but you're like getting carried away. And I was right. You were planning the final, where the parades were.
No, we weren't.
You were talking about, you did a reality check.
No, we weren't. Why should we get excited about it? It was something...
Yeah, get excited. Listen, get excited when they get to the final. No, but this was the semi-final, the group match.
People didn't even expect us to get to the semi-final. Why couldn't we be excited about being in there?
Just take it one game as it comes.
Before the game, everybody was thinking that we'd beat Croatia. Before the game,
about the final.
Yeah, but everybody thought that we'd beat Croatia before the game. Why should I be excited about that?
You know how hard it is to get to these big finals, or even get to a World Cup. You're talking about finals.
Final.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're talking about.
Relax yourself.
He's going to cane me again.
No, but listen, but the really good thing is because we all know, and you've all played the game, I'm not interested in international football, they're not interested in international football. International football is alive and thriving. And that is great. And they are not mutually exclusive. You can love Manchester United and love England and love Peterborough and love Wales. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They can
For the last 5, 10, 15 years, people, the international breaks here, the Premier League has stopped. That's been the attitude in our country. It's been absolutely the attitude. And maybe this tournament has just given everybody a little bit of a lift of how important the national team can be to the whole country.
Yes.
If nothing else, you can love the both at the same time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Love England more when they're playing.
And reaching a semi-final.
Absolutely, which is an unbelievable achievement for this lot.
OK, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a couple of moments.